clear now that an employee is just one of thousands and a number on an Excel spreadsheet, as easy to remove as hitting the backspace key.
I don't know why you're not panicking. In 70 years, $100,000 will be worth only $10,000. And this is with average 3.4% annual inflation based on the last 5 years. And this is the most average low ball scenario. If we go the realistic expectations, which essentially means that the inflation will be even higher than 3.4% per year, this means that we might actually see this $100,000 melt buying power to $10,000 in halfway through time, 35 years, 40 years from now. Why are not you panicking?
Imagine working somewhere for 38 years and waking up to an email at 5:07 in the morning letting you know that you don't work there anymore because your job's been eliminated as part of a layoff. One person doesn't have to imagine that. Adam Bernard, a 38-year employee of General Motors, whose job was eliminated last week as part of a large layoff at GM.
You should be panicking. Your kids, you put $10,000 every single year, for example, in your kids' account, grow compounding without paying taxes or with specifically tax executed strategy, limiting your tax exposure. And in the end of the day, after 30, 40 years, they're going to wake up, they're going to think that they have $1 million, but they're only going to have $100,000. They're only going to have $90,000. This is why you should start panicking right here, right now. This is not some fugazi metaverse expectations, simulations. We run the numbers based on adjusted inflation with an average of 3.4%, which was the average inflation for the last 5 years. And it's not going to remain at 3.4% because the Federal Reserve will continue printing money. Don't ask me why, this is a very long topic for a completely separate video. But they're going to print more money. Printing more money will increase the money circulation supply, which will increase the amount of money versus all the products and services provided into economy, which will create the balance of the services versus the actual paper value of the money, which will push the inflation even higher. More money will be worth less. This is why we meant that if the inflation is higher than 3.4% every single year for the next 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, well then you don't have to wait 70 years to see the buying power of 100K going down to 10K. You may be waiting 30, 35, 40 years to realize that, you know what, the prices are absolutely sky high. You still get the 100K, you still have the 100K in your account, but the 100K can only buy $10,000 worth of items. Imagine if today you could buy, let's say, some small, very old house in the middle of nowhere, some small city in some, not so expensive state, out of the borders of the downtown for 100,000. In 30, 40, 50, 60 years, you may only be able to put a down payment for the same amount because it will be equivalent to only $10,000. This is why people should start panicking now, immediately. Okay? You should understand that the cash, what was looked at always a reserve, which was always looked as a backup plan. If your investments are not performing, if your job is not giving you a raise, if let's say the assets that you have, that you inherit, are not increasing in value adjusted with the inflation, well, definitely you should look into plan B. Well, a lot of people still don't understand this. They're looking, the market is choppy, the market is going down, their friends losing money on the markets, they're looking, the crypto guys are losing money, they're looking at the people who bought real estate, and after they bought the real estate, after they set up all the legal, the paperwork, they work with brokers, they find tenants, they fix everything, and then they finally decide to do the math, and they found out that it will take them 25, 26 years actually to make some money, not crazy money, right? And not to mention that the usual appreciation of the real estate is taken away from the property taxes, which are increasing every single year. So the little appreciation that you're going to get, even if you have bought the property for 100,000 and after 5 years this property worth 200,000, you make 100% on your original investment. But guess what? The property taxes for the last 10 years have increased 25%, right? So a quarter of your unrealized profits, the upside of 100K, goes straight towards your property taxes. Then don't forget, you also have to pay taxes on the gains that you have on the real estate property. So you have all these hustles and bustles. You have all this work, physical, time-consuming work. You're involved in huge liability, right? Sure, the tax advantages of owning real estate are outstanding, unmatched, of course. But at the end of the day, you don't really make crazy money with real estate. And this is why a lot of people now trying to sell their properties. Everywhere I've seen, you just go on the websites that are selling businesses, or their people list their businesses for sale. You could see people who own multiple locations. And not talk only about real estate, we're talking about people who own vending machines. People are selling the whole chain neighborhood route that they own with vending machines. Like, for example, you own Fifth Avenue, like 45th Streets, you have vending machines throughout this path. It's all yours. You want to sell everything. You want to liquidate everything. You go and see people sell home service businesses with multiple locations. They have built infrastructure. They have people who they service like regular clients. People want out, and you probably wonder why. Right? The same exact reason. When you realize that you're trading your time for money that are not actually getting more valuable but decreasing in value, well, you kind of put in the position that you exchange something for something else that loses value over time. So effectively, you are the end user, the end loser in this formula. So what people actually do, think about it. I'm gonna give you a very easy, simple example that you will be able to comprehend, right? A lot of people are using their checking account to pay off their credit card, right? But the checking account has no yield. You don't get interest on the checking accounts usually. Even if you get some, it will be the lowest possible. The smartest decision, even though might not make a huge difference, but it will make some difference, is that instead of having a checking account, you can have a savings account. In your savings account, you pay off your credit card with your savings account. If you have, let's say, $10,000 in your checking account that you only use for paying off your credit card, right? If $10,000 sits in your checking account, you will be getting $1, $2 per month interest. If you put the same exact $10,000 inside the savings account, you will be getting $15 to $30 a month. You see what kind of a difference? You still use your savings account to pay off your credit card, but you're getting $50 to $20 to $30 depending of the APY that you're getting every single year, right? In your percentage interest, right? This is very, very important because a lot of people do the same exact thing, which effectively they're not only missing out on the opportunity to recoup most of the interest, but they're also missing out on the opportunity to not hold the cash inside the checking account. This is very, very interesting, and a lot of people do not know that you can use the savings account and paying multiple times a day, a week, a month, because there is a special limitations of moving money in and out from the savings account. But when we're talking about paying off your credit card bill, this doesn't really count towards. This is why you need to understand that. Why would you leave a free money on the table? Knowing that if you bank with the same bank, and if you have checking account and savings account with the same bank, why would you keep majority of it inside the checking account? That doesn't make any sense. There is a major paradigm shift that is happening as we speak. And the problem over here is that a lot of your friends and people that you know from school or probably you work prior with are currently in a very, very bad position. You probably have friends who used to have a very successful business, which is currently or recently closed. Probably had a lot of friends who had a very good profession, they have a very good career outlook, who were recently fired, right? And this paradigm shift represents the second part of the equation, the people who do not see this paradigm happening, people who really oversee the linear progression of the economy. They were preparing themselves academically and business-wise for economy where everything was going to progress in a linear way. You get a job, you get a degree, everything is kind of more or less predictable in the future. If I want to start a business, I know exactly what I should do and how the business will grow. If I want to buy the house, I know how to get the house, the mortgage, how to get funds, how to manage the mortgage, so on and so forth. Same thing happened for the people with a career. They kind of prepared themselves for careers in a linear economy where they didn't expect the next paradigm, which in our case, we're talking about the AI revolution, happening or didn't believe that it is going to actually happen. So a lot of the people that you currently know, friends, family, are secretly broke, and things are not getting better. You just look around. You just look around. Think about people around you. It almost felt like during the last 2 3 years, everyone was kind of doing fine. Everyone was kind of doing okay. It has always been people who were doing better, making more money, growing their net worth, whatever. But almost like overnight, in the last, let's say, 24 months, everything snapped. Almost everyone got poorer, and the people who were doing well now are doing exceptionally well. And the gap actually exploded, expanded, right, in the levels that probably haven't heard of. And this is not only coming from the paradigm of economic non-linear development. We're talking about a shift where the skill set combined with lack of preparation for adjusting your not only mindset but adjusting your skills and adjusting your knowledge base plays a determinational role. People who cannot adjust cannot survive. It's very simple to say it, hard to execute it, but I believe the hardest part is actually to see where the problem actually lies. Because, like I said, a lot of people who were doing very well, they think about the last 2 3 years, people around you, your very immediate circle, doing some e-commerce, reselling some clothes, doing some Amazon, having some physical retail location. I guarantee you most of these people have either closed or lost business 20, 30, 40, 50%, and very soon they're gonna close, especially people with high paying jobs previously. They're the first people who were found themselves not needing, right? The people who are making 150 account manager, 150K, 200K, 300K account managers, all this date sorting, filtering, input lead generation positions who were essentially paper holders, completely are out of their mind, right? Imagine you graduate 8 years ago, you spent 6 or 7 years, you already think yourself to become a VP in whatever company you're working, and now you're out on the street. Why? The paradigm shift is happening. And this is not some science fiction. I want you to really understand the concept, because when the paradigm shift happens during the first revolution, moving from actual horse carriages towards automobiles, right? The second revolution coming from actual plugging the engineering skills of the humans. A lot of people, if not most of the people, have no clue how this actually works. They didn't have idea how the car works, the combustion engine works. They didn't have idea how the electricity works. They didn't have idea how uh, Nikola Tesla actually built the AC and how he converted and actually destroyed the DC of Edison. A lot of people weren't so sophisticated and weren't so interested in learning anything outside their original skills by training, whatever they learn in school, whatever they learn in universities. This is what they lived with. No one was actually going out of their way to learn something else on the side, or at least not deeply enough. You had some surface knowledge. Back in the days, people didn't even know where this country or that country outside the US actually was located. So you need to understand that people who lived with this mindset, they had to learn. And the good thing is that there was no distraction back in the days. People had nothing to do. You go to work, you finish work, and then nothing to do. Most people had no televisions back then. Then when the next revolution came, yes, some of them have radios, some of them have televisions, but still the distraction was not at the level that it is right now. So this means that people have actually focused strict plan of execution or learning some of the skills. This is why a lot of people actually found jobs. When the US Steel was actually started and executed, a lot of people learned how to utilize steel, how to build bridges. A lot of people without engineering background learn how to do engineering, right? So this means that anyone can learn everything, regardless of the type of paradigm shift that is happening around the world. But a lot of your friends, I already guarantee you, they don't want to learn AI. They hate AI. And they secretly hope that AI will give up, AI will disappear. They secretly expect this is going to be just another bubble and everything will simply go away. I hope Michael Burry also hopes for the AI bubble because he's betting big against the market. But again, if you just hope on one thing, you're not really hedging, you're not really risk adjusting your bet. You should always prepare for the opposite. You should prepare yourself for being right. You should prepare yourself for being wrong at the same freaking time. What this means, well, you can still hate the AI, you can still hate all the technology, you can still hate any tool that replaces the human skill that you previously possess, but you should also simultaneously prepare yourself to utilize the skill either for yourself in your personal life or utilize the skill to save it as a service. And I'm not just picking up stuff from the air. Uh, I got plenty of calls from different banks that I have business accounts with, right? And I got plenty of calls. And all of the banks, when we have personal meeting one on one, they said, why don't pick up the phone? Why we cannot reach you out? I said, I already have an AI agent that filters and sorts out all the calls. Not only this, I have disabled the voice call. Why is that? Because the AI agent filters all the calls, and before the voice calls actually leave a small transcript on the phone, and this transcript can give a false directions to the AI agent. Can say, oh, this is the information you requested. You can just click here and find the information you requested, and the AI agent might get confused. They might click on links that shouldn't click. This is going back to the example. Regardless of what you think about AI, regardless of what you think about your current, financial or career path, you should hedge every single bet and prepare yourself to take part in the paradigm shift. Otherwise, you're going to be left behind the paradigm shift. You're going to be left with people who didn't believe in cars replacing the carriages, didn't believe that electricity will replace the gas swamps, didn't believe that the actual guns will replace the bows and arrows, and the people who were, not optimistic, didn't hedge their bet. No one said anything about them in the history. They were simply erased from the history, replaced. Technology results, the results from all of these technological innovations replaced anyone who was skeptical of. Think about all the people who were writing articles in 19s that the internet is the next fad, the internet is the scam, it's nobody's going to be using. Same people who are talking that no one will ever own a personal computer because it doesn't make any sense. These people simply were washed out of the media, washed out from the social media space, washed out from the history because they were so wrong. Then ask yourself, do you want to be washed out from the history, or you want to take part of the history of this paradigm shift? Think about it.